goodness. Wow.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be
They
kidding me.
stole a run. You have got to be kidding me. Javi Baez.
Keep going. Go.
Check away, and now the counter. Here come the Caps. Kuznetsov gets loose. Evgeny coming down the middle. A shot, and it comes in over. He scores! He scores!
And they start with a horrible snap all the way back to the 2-yard line, and the Browns bounce it into the end zone where they wind up with a touchdown. Of all crazy things, you don't go to the playoffs for 18 years, and that is the way it starts in the first 14 seconds.
Welcome to another Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. You got to pardon my allergies here a little bit. They're bothering me. It's just one of those years. So let me take a sip so I can talk. Little drink on air. It feels better. Thank you for watching us. We appreciate you on Facebook. We're holding steady there at almost 7,500 followers. Means a lot to us, and we'll interact with you. There are no dumb questions. I've told a few people at the Bethel Bounty. By the time, we had a great time, so thanks for listening to those promotions. Thanks to the 300-plus people that were there. They had to put the taco machine on 50-50 raffle. They put my humble assistant, Linda Kroll, there with Parker. They started out with $700. They brought the closer in. We ended up with $68.90 or $36.98. Whoever won got $1,848. And it only cost them $20.
Merry Christmas.
All right, enough of that, but thanks for all the support, Bethel Park Bounty. We got YouTube up there. It's always good there. Sometimes the audio and video on Facebook is a little sketchy, but we've all been checked out here. Mic checks they're all good. So we got 414. We increased by 1. If we do this, it may take 60 years to get 1,000. So I'm hoping, I got my phone. I need one more tonight. I'll keep asking, please. If you wondered what happened to my hair, got my hair cut at Azazu. I got to announce it. Emilio's 57th birthday.
Wow.
He was working like an animal, getting my hair straightened out. He put some special stuff in there to keep my curls smooth.
Did you spend a little money on some product?
Not this time. Not this time. I'm too sharp for that. They know me better than that. Although it's in, and it's still light and nice and less curly, but that's all good. And yeah, it's just great down there, and it's his birthday, so we appreciate that. Then their skin specialist, their expert, Lulu Scholl, she's retired, and she was a great photographer, so I got to make chance work. She goes, Alan, I'm going to give this to one of the ladies there to give you. Chip, what do you think of Forbes Field?
Wow.
And I'll let you check it out there next there, my assistant, Steve.
You know,
Look at that close-up, will you?
the thing I remember so much about Forbes Field, when my grandfather would take me down to the games, was the carnival atmosphere. Like all the restaurants and bars have their doors open. They'd have tables out. There was food out. They were just, inviting everybody to just, it was.
I'll share my first experience there. I think I'm like 7 years old. All right, we'll move on there. And so my dad thought it was great. A couple cousins are there, a couple friends are there. And they had these large beams. And there's a seat behind it. Little Alan, they go, here, you get to sit here. It smelled like a urinal. There was smoke blowing in your face. I couldn't see the field unless I looked around. And I'm looking.
I had the same seat.
Having fun. I go, what happened? But I loved it. I went back a few more times, and I'll give my classic story. The last game at Forbes Field, me and a few buddies, we had to take a 36D to downtown, then an Oakland bus out to Oakland. So we're walking into Forbes Field. It's packed for a double header.
Against?
I forget.
Chicago Cubs.
Chicago. I don't even remember the score. We see the double header. People are going crazy. They're yelling, this is the last game. I'm going to grab a chair. I'm going to grab souvenirs, whatever. We're there. And I'm like, what's going on? People attack the field. They're on the batting cage, in center field. we're out there. And they're like, come on. I go, no, I'm not going there. People are ripping out the sod. Then there's people with hammers and stuff taking the seating out. They're carrying it out. There's no security. No police were there. I think they grabbed a couple things too, to be honest with you. There were things on the scoreboard. People were grabbing that. It was one of the wildest days that I ever saw in baseball. I forgot the score and who we played. It was so crazy being out there. That was 1970, right? So I just turned 14 on that day.
I went to the first ever night football game at Forbes Field, Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. I think Cincinnati was expansion.
What was that, 1981?
Cincinnati beat them. Yeah.
Was that 1981?
It was 69, I think.
Yeah, back Noel's first year.
Yeah.
They were what, one.
Hey, glad we could reminisce with you on some
1 and
sports
13.
here. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. If you didn't notice, I do talk a lot here. I do listen, and I let other people talk. Smoking Jim Frazier. Chip Hayner back from the Grand Canyon in Las Vegas.
All right.
Steve Crisani from downtown Pittsburgh
All right,
is a retired
Steve.
long-term city policeman. We honor you and thank you for your service. All right. We got promos. 10 seconds for the promos. That control room, they're in control. See you in 10 seconds.
This is Elle Stravik with your Bethel Park Minute. The Bethel Park Police are sponsoring their annual toy drive now through December 5th. You can drop off toys at the Bethel Park Police Station lobby, the library, community center, Evie's Hardware, and the Yugoslav Club. Please no bicycles, toy weapons, including Nerf guns or video games, but everything else is fair game. No Cook Tuesdays continue this week from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Bethel Park Community Center. Cilantro y Ayo, Forlini's Kitchen, and Frank and Fried will be at the Park Avenue Playground parking lot. Also on Tuesday, there will be an indoor market alongside No Cook Tuesdays inside the Community Center from 4 to 7. Shop some of your favorite farmers market vendors during the off-season. Bethel Park Police are holding a free car seat check event on Friday, November 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Bethel Park Firehouse on Brightwood Road. For an appointment, please call 412-831-6800. The extension is 418. Bethel Park Recreation is still accepting registration for their annual Thanksgiving Day Turkey Trot. The race takes place on Thursday, November 27th at 7:30 a.m. Check with Recreation for the new route, category, and prizes for this year. Bethel Park Historical Society is collecting donations for the Wreaths Across America program. You can sponsor a wreath for just $17. Checks can be sent to Bethel Park Historical Society at 2600 South Park Road, Bethel Park, PA 15102. For more information, please email the Historical Society. This has been your Bethel Park Minute.
Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
We don't have Steve in one. I want to put it in our profile. Hey, we were doing some behind the scenes, folks. You know this is live, and it's tough. Linda, will you get us here? We're taking a live picture while we're doing the show. How cool is that? Not very cool. But thank you for watching our promos. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Linda. That's Linda Krall with a Krall.
No space.
Yeah, no space there, as you see it. Linda, those are pretty good pictures. Yeah. I got to just crop it, though, so we'll be good. All right, thank you very much. Let's get back to sports. Smoking Jim, before I introduce you, what are you wearing? Never mind. We're going to do What's on Your Mind. Unbelievable. I didn't even notice that.
The Hawk's biting out there, isn't it?
Wow. You know what? What's on my mind is what did that cost? Was it $2 or $5? What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
relish.
You got to see Levine.
That's your relish.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's trained.
2 weeks ago I had lunch with Scotty Miller, so my hands can get good like Scotty's, but Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, I didn't know if it was Terry Smith or Dick Vermeil. And there's no crying in football. Al Levine, and you know I love Terry Smith. That's one of my best friends, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I think Penn State should hire him. You know what I mean? Al Levine, the talking machine. But Al Levine, the talking machine, they carry you off the field when you beat Michigan State, who stinks. Michigan State beat Western Michigan and Youngstown State to 0-7 in the Big Ten. How far has the Nittany Lions fallen, Al Levine, the talking machine? Here's a question over there. We are Penn State.
I have to make a point.
I love Terry.
I have to clarify it because he's my best friend. 14 years and a couple months, all right? I don't know him longer than that, even though they think I know him forever. And one thing I can tell you is if you're friends with him, he'll turn on you in a New York second. It doesn't matter how good you are, what you've done for him, how you carried him on shows, let him eat the whole show. And then he turns on one of his best friends, admittedly, like that. He got the greatest opportunity in his life.
Yeah.
And he had to take over from James.
The greatest opportunity was growing up in Monroeville. That's the greatest opportunity.
Well,
playing for Gateway, coaching at
where
Gateway.
did you grow up?
Monroeville.
Okay,
man.
I rest my case.
Yeah, just east of Penn Hills.
Yeah. I give him all the credit in the world and what he's doing, and whatever his players like him.
Speaking of them bums from Penn Hills, if somebody retires your number, don't you at least put on the suit? Come on, come on, Aaron Donald. You look like a bum out there. Al Levine, the talking machine. There's no pride at Pitt. That's why the Fighting Irish ran right through him. Made him look like a junior college. Made the quarterback look like a junior
I gotta
high player.
give a disclaimer.
Come on, don't you put a suit on, Al Levine? Where's your pride?
Can you stand up and let's get a picture of it from his toes to his nose? Stand up for Chance. I trust Chance on this one.
I'm tight.
I just want him
with the mic.
It'll stretch. Just let Chance get it. Let Linda get a close up of you, and then you need to show your Nike shoes.
But I tell you what, I'm getting ready to celebrate Al Levine, the talking machine.
Well, no, you keep talking. This is about you.
I'm getting ready.
All right, there's his size 21 Nikes. He wears size 15. And then, can we get Linda again on this camera with Smoking Jim? No.
He must have gone to Aaron Donald's tailor.
No, Chip, you're stealing my line. Chance, get back to me now. Sit down, Linda. Forget about him for a minute. Have any of you watched our show? 1,000 of them, even one or two. Have you watched ESPN? Do you have any criticism for Smoking Jim? I rest my case.
And finally,
who cares what he's wearing?
Finally, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm ready to celebrate. Just like fine wine, I'ma celebrate win number 9. I can't wait, Al Levine. It's right around the corner, brother. Another 9 wins, Al Levine, the talking machine. Non-losing season. I love it.
Who predicted that?
Well, I think we'll go past that, though. I think we'll go to 10.
See, we get the truth out of him once in a while. If he can criticize you, he wins. All right, thanks, Smoking. Jane Leffler's watching. Ann Harder. Marco Rody. Hi, guys. Hope you feel better, Marco. Ann Harder. Hair looks good. Thank you. Ann Harder. Forbes Field and all the platers would come out and sign for fans in the parking lot every game. Yeah, those were the days.
A different class of athletes back then.
Yes.
Than exist today.
Yes, thank you, Chip. We appreciate it. Nick Rohde, watching from Rochester, New York. Nick and Peggy Rohde, we appreciate you tuning in without your son on tonight. So we appreciate that. Jane Leffler, looking forward to tonight's show. You guys always do a great job. We appreciate you, Jane. Thanks for tuning in. Chuck Chief McElroy, sorry, Smoke. Central Catholic are champs. Teresa Mariano's watching. That means your husband Michael's watching. Tell him I've been praying for him. I hope he's doing well. And Marco Rody, thanks. I feel better. Hey, we're glad to hear it. Keep watching. All right, Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind? It's been a while since I've been here. Quite a number of things are on my mind.
It seems like a month ago.
I'll go rapid fire, but first off, Smoking Jim's picking Peters Township to win at Acrisure Stadium on Saturday after the field gets torn up again.
Well, Chip, here's why I'm glad Chip's here. Steve, you don't know, but he works for a lawn service company that does yards from Robert Morris to your neighborhood and whatever. He cuts grass. He does it all. Can you tell people, like, in a short couple sentences about sod, cooler weather, and how you can take it off and put it on and it'd be good?
Well, yeah, they can resod the field, which is what they're going to have to do, because after 2 games last weekend and 4 games this weekend, all on the same day, the field's going to get destroyed again. So they've got plenty of time to roll out the old sod, bring in a new.
Okay.
They can do it relatively cheaply, all things considered.
Really?
Yeah, it's much more affordable. Well, if you're $1 billion enterprise, it's much more affordable for you. So, just wanted to touch on that.
Sorry to divert you on that, but I needed an expert on that.
So,
Smoking Jim don't know grass officially.
So, a few weeks ago, the World Series ended, and that was one of the best World Series I have seen in a long time. Dodgers came out triumphant, but the Toronto gave them everything that they could handle.
And more.
And it was exciting, plenty of extra inning games. There was one 18-inning game, and this is the way baseball should be played. No ghost runners. You know, they just play the game until there's a winner or a loser. They used 19 pitchers in that game.
Right.
You know, so you know, that was a pretty incredible thing. I truly did enjoy the World Series, and I look forward to what's going to happen over the next few months. And then mid-February, we're back to spring training, and the whole world is new again, and everybody has a chance. But that's what all of us Pirate fans have always said, and always will.
Chip, as you know, I'm a disgruntled Pirate fan because of the glory years and everything I know, but I'm always optimistic every year.
Well, and I'm always going to look at the glass half full. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Penguins. Got off to a pretty decent start.
Yeah.
But I was checking the standings before we got started, and it looks like everybody in the Eastern Conference are all kind of bunched up, you know, and the Penguins are in third or fourth place in their division, which doesn't mean anything. It's November 18th. You know, when it matters is when we get into April. So, you know, instead of counting your sheep or counting your eggs before they hatch, we're not going to do that. But hey, you know, they're making things a little interesting. Next up, I have said this every week since the season started, and I will say it again. I am not now, nor will I ever be, an Aaron Rodgers fan. That being said, you know, the Steelers...
19 TDs.
No, the Steelers are in a position that I truly didn't expect them to be in at this point. First place in their division. Baltimore's got...
Go Steelers.
Bigger problems than injuries to Lamar Jackson.
Hold it, I got the purple on.
Cincinnati, the wheels fell off that bus, and the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. They're always going to be. I will tell you, my favorite player on the Pittsburgh Steelers, without any question of a doubt, is Mount Washington. Woo, oh, is he a beast? I mean, he was tossing defensive backs around like they were trash cans.
How about the hands on?
Oh, I just was watching him flatten people, and I had to rewind several times. It was worth watching.
Did you think it was fair when he was twice the size of people?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
just wanted to know.
But you know what? The Steelers have had guys that were twice the size of somebody else that were pretty much like open doors.
Yeah, open doors doing well there. 82 million richer.
So anyhow, the 7 games left in the season. Steelers are 6-4. Am I convinced that this is a playoff team? And the answer to that question is no.
Right.
I am not convinced that I think they have the potential to be a playoff team, but I don't see them getting much past. If they win in the wild card round, I don't see them moving much further than that.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of flaws in the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And
Chip, I want to bring one up. We've talked about it before.
Okay.
Do you think they should have got a second wide receiver instead of just having one?
You know, it depends. It depends on at what cost. I think the offense is just it's completely disjointed. You know, you look at the way Rodgers was playing. He was playing way below the line.
How about blocking's determining some of that? Like
the offensive line is terrible.
Okay.
It's just
wanted to clarify.
The defensive line is terrible. I mean, both lines are awful.
We've said that, yeah.
You know, and you know, you can blame the coaches all you want, but I put it on the players. You know, they're not fulfilling their assignments. You know, before I want to criticize the coaches, I want to know what every player's specific area of responsibility is on each play, and is he doing his job? And I think if we were to dissect it like that, you'd find out the answer to that question is no.
Chip, I'm a guy that talks about coaches can pump you up, but the players have to play better. Now, I'll confirm with you with having good coaches that made players better. So there's nobody making anybody better, and nobody's doing their job like they should.
Well, I feel that it falls on the players that they need to do what they need to do to make themselves better. That means they need to study better, pay better attention in the short practices that they have.
Well, that's the CBA.
You know, So I fault the players more than I fault anybody else.
Understand.
But that being said, the Steelers got a tough road to hoe. I am not looking at this Sunday's game as the Steelers having an easy ride. Chicago's been pretty good on offense, and the Steelers have been pretty bad on defense. So what kind of a mix is that going to make? But then again, when we played the Indianapolis Colts, we were playing the number one offense in football, and what did we do to them? So
no, you make good points, but
that's what's on my mind.
We're watching the same thing. That's why we have differing opinions. I always put a little weight on leadership and how they lead. Like with you at your company, what would they do without you? And I rest my case.
No. Yeah.
I don't want an argument, but I'm resting my case there. And like I tell people, what I learned playing football for the first time in a uniform, and I met with some buddies of mine from Keystone Oaks, my coaches. I'm going to try to get them Coach Mancini and Coach Murray, who's in the Hall of Fame in the gym there. Don Murray, great line coach, taught me how to be a great center and coached me up from nothing. And we were talking about it, and they said they watched pros and went to college and everything. Matter of fact, Coach Mancini was behind a quarterback called Roman Gabriel.
Wow. Remember him.
And he
LA Rams.
Yeah, and he was, I think, at North Carolina or something.
NC State.
NC State. Yeah, well, that's where Coach Mancini's from. Mm-hmm. And he was a starting quarterback, and he's probably about 5'8". Roman Gabriel come in like a statue. And he said the way he threw and played, never saw anybody like him. Mm-hmm. So they had said, when you watch the Steelers, how are they not performing and blocking on the line, defensive line and offensive line?
Well, you talk about leadership. There has to be leadership on the field. There has to be leadership in the locker room, and I think they're lacking in both areas.
Well, we did talk about that. You got another point to bring up. I interrupted you.
No, that's good.
Just checking, because we've talked about so much like this, and we're friends, and we agree to disagree on most of that. I still give a little extra weight on a coach. That's where I'm at. Hey, yeah. Marco come up with something. I think they should have kept Pickens. He tore it up last night against Las Vegas. Well, they got rid of him because they thought he was a troublemaker here. And Coach T, as they call him, works with a lot of troublemakers, so no surprise by me.
Hey, I'd rather, I follow the old adage. I'd rather get rid of somebody 1 year too soon than 1 year too late.
We got Jim Morgenstern. Marco, valid point, but Pittsburgh don't throw like Dallas does. All right, we got to go to
Yeah, they don't throw a football or football games.
Oh, Chip's coming in strong from Las Vegas, baby. Viva Las Vegas. All right, Steve Pisani, this is your time. What's on your mind?
Well, the first thing I wanted to bring up is you see this issue with the gambling in the NBA.
Yes.
And I think the MLB, NFL, and NHL are taking notice of this because I have a feeling that it's going to affect all the major sports, that this stuff is rampant. It's going on all over the place.
Yeah.
May I interrupt you for 1 second?
Into colleges and,
If it was going on in the NBA, I absolutely believe it's going on in all the other professional sports. I just believe that in my heart.
Hold it, I'll chime in right now. We're older people, and you didn't have gambling 24/7. You didn't have something like this with your strong thumbs. You're gambling right now as you're watching our show. They're brought up on this, just like they're brought up on the computers. I wasn't. I had to learn that.
Well,
how do you stop somebody that grew up with that?
It's going to have major implications going forward.
Yeah.
For all the major sports. I think some stuff.
I'm with you. I agree 100%.
It could literally affect the credibility of all the major sports.
Yeah.
Because I question it now. I've questioned it for years.
Well, what about some of these calls that are happening in games?
These calls, some
a
of
ref
these
could
games,
be bought.
The way some of these games go, they look scripted at times, and it just makes no sense.
You brought something up you and I have talked about. Look at Sunday night games, Monday night games, and Thursday night games. One team starts out blowing a team out. They're up by 2-3 touchdowns. Who wins the game? The team that was losing the first half. Look at the records. We've seen it. How's
Follow
that
the
happen?
money. Follow the money.
I've said my whole life, follow the money.
I was talking to a guy in Las Vegas, and he asked
Good
me.
place.
He asked me to watch his stuff while he went to go to the restroom.
His chips.
And he comes back, and we started talking, and he was a former minor league umpire.
No, you had to love that.
So I brought up the subject
Sorry
of sports betting, and especially considering the pitchers from
Ding, ding.
the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
And he said, I said that all these sports are in bed with all these gambling institutions, and he goes, follow the money. He goes, that'll tell you what's going on. Just follow the money.
Well, go back in history. I love history in general and sports history. Look at Connie Hawkins, what happened with him in college with gambling.
Paul Hornung.
Look it up. Paul Hornung.
Alex Karras.
Yeah.
Pete Rose.
Well, college sports is probably the most vulnerable of this because you got young players,
teenagers
with no money, and the opportunity to make money on the side by,
what they know.
Yeah, well,
what they watch.
Or if you're a player, just how you doctor the game up. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's just like I says, at this particular point, the credibility of all the sports is going to go right down the tubes. I mean, we're on the way right now. It's already circling the drain.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it with the NIL money. Now that these college students, now they've got money and they're gonna, it's free money, so they can waste it gambling.
I'm gonna make some more money. I'm gonna take it
exactly.
and I'm gonna gamble with it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's tough. Like people ask me, well, how could it be fixed? I go, imagine if you go to a long snapper on a punt, and punts are pretty serious at times. What if he gets a little higher snap, and the punt, kicks it off to the side a little bit,
Holder
or whatever.
for a game-winning
Then,
field goal.
Yeah, one holder, he didn't spin the ball.
What I find interesting about this whole thing is, okay, if I'm a Major League Baseball player, I can't bet on baseball, but I can bet on everything else. If I'm a football player, I can't bet on football, but I can bet on everything else. Well, how do you manage that, and how do you see to it that they're not having somebody else place bets for them?
I'll give you one word.
Or family members or friends. You just said,
I got the one
it's
word
easy.
for you guys. Are you ready? Otani.
Yeah.
A translator.
Yeah.
Got the greatest excuse in the world. I mean, when they came out with that, I said, you couldn't come up with a better one, because they're arguing with him and he don't understand. Otani.
Yeah, he understands.
Steve, carry on. You're on a hot subject here.
The other issue, I want to go back to George Pickens, and the reason I want to go back to him is if you checked out that game last night, the first thing that happened to him and his counterpart in their offense were held out the first series.
Yeah.
Why? Because they did something they weren't supposed to do.
Listen,
pissed
Marco.
off the head coach and had to sit the first series. That stuff doesn't happen here in Pittsburgh, and that's one of my problems with Mike Tomlin. You can only be a player's coach so far, and it comes back to bite you. And all you got to do is look at the Martavius Bryants, the Antonio Browns, all these different players that you've had problems with. And you can't operate that way. You can't be, it's like the old saying, the parent says, I want to be my kid's best friend. You can't be their friend and their parent at the same time. So you can't be their coach and their best friend at the same time. But wouldn't he look good if he was still here and you disciplined him? But it goes further than that. Let's look at, we talked about the offensive line.
Yeah.
Regressed. Why? Because your offensive line coach stinks. Okay? They need to get rid of him. They should have never hired him. But that's
Let me
that's
stop
Tomlin's
you 1 second.
boy.
Steve, you'll love this. You'll love this. Smoking Jim, what have you said about offensive line coaches for a few years? They're coffee boys and they get promoted.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's on your page in advance.
It's ridiculous. And, other players, Joey Porter, sometimes he looks good, sometimes he doesn't. He still does the same things now that he did in college. Why? Because they can't develop players. Like they are not developing these guys on the offensive line. I blame Tomlin, who's completely responsible for the Broderick Jones issue that we have. If they had put him in there when they drafted him, because you traded up to get him, you put him in there on the left side and you start him from day one. Oh, but no, Dan Moore Jr., he worked so hard on the offseason. We gotta reward him. Well, so you're going to tell me if you took a cornerback who just made the team as a special teams player and says, well, he really worked hard, and we're going to start him over Ramsey, right? I mean, if you're going to go with that mentality, it makes no sense to me at all.
Great point, Steve.
They
Keep going.
can't develop players. They're not good at it. And I, like I says, I put it all on him because he got to be in control of everything. And that's my problem with them. So that's my problem with the Steelers there, you know. And I don't think – I have a feeling they're going to lose to Chicago.
Whoa, you heard it here.
I would not be shocked.
You know, I mean, I think they're going to be fighting for that last spot. Baltimore will win the division, and I think they're going to be fighting for that spot with Kansas City. And that ain't going to end.
You heard it here first.
And I don't
Steve's
think,
coming through.
I don't think Baltimore is going to win the division. They're not a very good football team, and Lamar Jackson, they have bigger problems than Lamar Jackson being hurt. They do. But
I like this discussion. We're going to carry that on a little later, but we've already talked a pretty good amount here. So, Steve, thanks for adding all that to there. I lean more towards your part, but I got to go even deeper. The problem with the Steelers is their owner, the head of the snake. That's the problem. And after that, we can solve all kind of problems later on, all right? Just wanted to do it a little tease for later.
okay, well, you know, I mean, you want to compare owners. What would you rather have, a Jerry Jones or an Art Jr.?
Well, I'll take a guy just like Art Rooney, the 16th or whatever he is, definitely. But you know, we got a winning record, so how can I complain when other cities don't?
Well, look what's going on in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You have Joe Burrow. You can't win because you have no defense at all.
Yeah.
We're talking historically bad defense.
I like
which
that.
kind of makes me, it's disturbing because we can only score 20 points on them in that last game. And it's like, so, but you have Joe Burrow, and you don't want to spend no money. You don't want to build around him. And, I mean, you know, yeah, so we could do worse. But Art Jr. has some issues that I think it's some issues with him, too.
All right,
so.
we're going to save that for later on location when I don't have anything to talk about, just to get you going there. But I do have stuff to talk about now. Hey, Smokin' Jim, our longtime friend Leah, she said, Ann Harder, you beat me to telling him that LOL, that my hair looks nice. Thanks, Leah. We appreciate you tuning in. You have the best hair. Oh, what's on my mind? Well, you criticize the Steelers. I criticize them all the time. For me to say they're in first place, I'm optimistic. But then, Steve, I came back to earth. What was it? We were 11-0 like 3 years ago.
11-1, I think.
No, 11-0 before we lost that game. Yeah. I said on air, so I was looking at the film. All right, we're all criticizing the team. Would you be happy that we're in first place? Yes. Do you think they can win? I predict in 11-0 they would not keep on winning. They lost 5 out of 6. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm hoping we get to 9 sometime this season because I like being right on a prediction. That's how simple I am. So I'm not going to argue what's right or wrong. If you haven't heard our show, we got over 1,000. Go back just this year and then hear what we say about the offensive line, defensive line, and individual players, because we can't keep repeating it and getting the same results. Einstein said if you keep doing the same thing, it's stupid. So we're not going to keep doing that here. We're going to move on. We got Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim Frazier, 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, man, I guaranteed it on this show last week. I won a ton of money on Notre Dame. I said they was going to kill Pitt. A few weeks ago, I told you that the Baltimore Colts or the Indianapolis Colts were paper champions and they were going to get beat. And I'm telling you right now, the Chicago Bears haven't beat a winning team all year. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going into Chicago to win. Question over here from
No,
the
I have to
Baltimore
make a
Raven
statement to our fans, and I got a question for you. If you don't gamble, don't start. If you do gamble, do the opposite of Smoking Jim. Now, other people that do what I say, they want to know what is a ton of money to you. I've had them ask me for years, and I was waiting for the perfect time, right?
Here, I'll answer the question for you. Instead of a ton of zeros, it's a ton of ones.
I rest my case. We can move on. Thank you. And thank you for your non-answer, Smoking Jim. You know, just so you know, because he didn't know math and he didn't know measurements at Gateway.
I know 36, 24, 36. I know that.
I know. That's a brick house.
Yes, sir.
What is that? Jerome Bettis? Jerome Bettis, like Taylor, Jerome Bettis?
Well, he doesn't know that, and hate to educate you, but to get 1 ton, you need 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
Just wanted to verify that. So if he had a ton of money in ones, that would fill the room up. Okay, next subject.
Hot diddle. George Pickens over the middle again. 9 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown to Al Levine, the talking machine. Right now, he ranks number 2 in all the NFL as far as yardage for a wide receiver. Al Levine, the talking machine. He's a maturing 24-year-old. Chip's hit right now that you can't pay a second wide receiver because it's too much money. George Pickens was still on his rookie salary deal. Al Levine, the talking machine. I'll tell you right now, DK Metcalf's not a number 1 receiver. CD Lamb's not a number 1 receiver. It's George Pickens. He's starting to be the number 1 receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Al Levine, the talking machine. I heard for years. Steve, I heard for years. Chip, I heard for years that the Chicago Bears never had a quarterback. And it's true. Al Levine, the talking machine. The all-time leading quarterback in Chicago Bears history is who? Does anybody know? Chance is the only one that gets it. Chance did it. Jay Cutler is the number 1 quarterback in Bears history with 23,000 passing yards. Question here, Al.
No, this is my first actual disclaimer. Chance is quiet. He shook his head. He didn't say it.
Well,
I rest my case.
Eli might have got it. Mikey might have got it.
None of them.
Who's number 2, Al Levine, the talking machine? Is Sid Luckman. That's my man. He won championships, 14,000 yards. Who's the 3rd leading quarterback in Bears history? It's Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh with 50 touchdowns. The 4th lead quarterback is Jim McMahon. The 5th is Mitch Trubisky, Al Levine, the talking machine. Justin Fields is 10. Mike Tomczak is 13. The Bears just don't have any good quarterbacks ever, but the one they got now may go down in history as the best since Sid Luckman. And that's a little fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. They've been right. Bears don't have no good quarterbacks.
I'm glad you came back from all the
They ain't got them.
I'm glad you came back from
All of them is
all
an
the
hour away in
misstatements.
Green Bay.
Shut his mic off. Chip Hayner, let's go to trivia time in 10 seconds.
Okay, we're going to go do some rapid fire here. So looking at the Penguins start, okay? Sidney Crosby's 11 goals are the most through the player's first 15 games of a season among players 38 years or older in NHL history, okay? The 3 players that have done that, Sidney Crosby this year, Alex Ovechkin in 2024, 2025 with 10 goals, and Gordie Howe in 1967, 1968.
Well,
Good company.
Chip, I got one question for you. It's question night by me. I'm curious.
Yes.
How many players were over 38 in NHL history?
That's hard to say, but a lot.
Okay,
But
no,
a lot.
I just wondered.
That's a sport that seems to players can play.
I want to
as-
say that's great because they're some of the toughest athletes that I've ever seen play and that I've met.
hands down.
Yeah.
They break a bone, they wrap an ace bandage around it, they play. They get their teeth
How
knocked
about
out.
Tocchet?
They get their teeth knocked
Broken
out.
jaw.
They spit them out and they keep playing.
How about
Chiclets.
Tocchet
Okay.
with the broken jaw? Just had to ask. I was curious.
So next up, an interesting stat that I read, and I talk about the caliber and the quality of pitching in the major leagues
Yeah.
now as compared to
You're a
in the
history
past.
guy, yeah.
So in 2025, the St. Louis Cardinals starting pitchers combined to pitch 762 innings. That's an average of 4.7 innings per start in 162 starts and had 0 complete games.
Just give me Bob Gibson.
Yeah, okay. We're going to go back to Bob Gibson. In 4 seasons, from 1968 to
That's who I wanted.
1971, he pitched 1,158 innings, which is an average of 8.7 innings per start.
And there's 9 innings in a game.
In
for
134 starts, and he had 99 complete games.
newbies. Only 99.
Yes. So it shows you how I personally believe pitchers were better in the past than they are now. And I'll quote Greg Maddux, the least important thing when it comes to pitching is velocity.
Did I do well with serving that Gibson up?
There you go. Last but not least, okay, the Pittsburgh Pirates have their 3rd Cy Young Award winner.
I know.
Okay, their first one was Vernon Law in 1960. The second one was Doug Drabeck. It
I
took us
remember
30
that.
years
Yeah.
for another one, but it only took us 35 years. No, 35 years for the next. Paul Skeens unanimously won the Cy Young Award, and he joins a list of pitchers in baseball history. He's the 8th pitcher in Major League history to win both the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Awards.
How about starting 2 All-Star games?
Well, there's that. So I'm going to go from the most recent back to the.
We got a
to the
little
oldest.
sidebar with Smoking Jim who doesn't know baseball.
You should win a Cy Young. Cy Young won 500 games. If you're not having a winning record, you don't deserve the Cy Young. He's great. He's my favorite player, but he don't deserve no Cy Young.
But apparently,
He don't know baseball, folks.
the baseball writers feel differently because he was.
He's the only one that's ever done it.
He's
the only one that's
he's
ever
a
done it.
unanimous selection.
He's the only
that
one
means
with a
that
lose-
he got
winning
every
record.
single first place
Is he the
vote.
first
Hold
one
it.
to
We're
ever
gonna.
do it?
Hey,
No.
Chip and Smoking. We'll have
No.
to.
Second.
No.
We'll have to pause this, but I have to again ask Smoking Jim a question as a best friend.
If you don't have a winning record,
Have
can't
you
win.
ever watched?
But he didn't have a losing record either.
Chip, and let me clarify this. Have you ever watched one whole baseball game?
I watched 3 innings.
Yeah, he watched 3 innings. I know. I can swear he sat next to me.
This is too easy. Sorry, folks. This is too easy.
Okay, so anyhow-
We didn't script this. He's just like that.
Okay, so here we go.
Thanks.
8 players have won the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young. Jacob deGrom is one.
Right.
Then Justin Verlander
Yeah.
did that for the Detroit
Still
Tigers.
pitching.
Dr. K, Dwight Gooden. Fernando Valenzuela,
I remember that when he came
1981.
up. Yeah.
Rick Sutcliffe for the Chicago Cubs. Tom Terrific Seaver for the
That was my guy.
New York Mets. And Don Newcomb for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Newcomb and Sandy Koufax were an unbeatable pair
I know. Imagine that.
in the 60s. In the 60s, you had
And
Don
put
Newcomb
Drysdale
and
in
then
there
the
with
left
them.
hand of God, Sandy Koufax. So,
Put Don Drysdale
congratulations to Paul Skeens.
Yeah, congrats. In spite of Smoking Jim, congrats.
Well, and
Skeens.
here's the thing: you could argue all you want about who was more deserving.
Paul Horning won the Heisman with
But
a 2-9
when
record
you
for
win-
Notre Dame over Jim Brown. Come
Wait,
on.
when
He
you
didn't
win
deserve it either.
Now
by
you're
a
talking apples and
unanimous
oranges.
selection, it is obvious that people felt that he was the best pitcher in the National League this
I
year.
believe it too, but you
Hey,
got to have a
Smoking,
winning record to
we'll
get that
talk
award.
after the show because you're so far out with baseball, and I feel bad for you right now.
Don't you feel you should
No,
have a
I feel
winning
bad.
record?
I feel bad what you're talking about. But Drew has a question for Chip.
Yes.
He said he loves Skeens too. Wish they would have done more with him. What do you think about the $3.5 million bonus he got for the Cy Young and the salary he's making?
Well, that's
He
going
just wanted to know what your honest.
No,
opinion on that.
I think it's great that he's getting $3.5 million, and I'm telling you right now, he's making a whole lot more in endorsements right now than he is in salary. So I'm not feeling bad for Paul Skeens.
Right.
And once he gets into arbitration, those numbers are going up,
If
and
you're
they're going up
if you're
fast.
listening, Drew, I told him the same thing Chip
What
said.
endorsements he got? Levine Furniture? Paying that much?
That's Levin Furniture. Smoking Jim, you misspeak. My kids pulled the E off of that sign.
He's got,
All right, we got to move on.
He's got a social media money machine named Libby Dunn
Hold
as
on.
his girl.
Smoking Jim and Chip, we're going to have to silence you because
Sorry,
our
sorry,
new
Steve,
co-host,
sorry.
he gets a special segment with anything by Steve.
Well, the first thing I wanted to say is I'm a little disappointed in Smoking Jim. When you showed his shoes,
Yeah.
I thought for sure that he would have on a pair of Air Jordans,
No,
and he didn't.
they weren't in the trunk.
They weren't in the trunk.
Yeah, you
That
got to
was the first thing,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, you know that the streets. This guy
Yeah.
patrolled streets of Pittsburgh, so he knows
I
what
figured
you're
you would
talking
have
about.
a pair of those on.
He's an expert. He knows.
Maybe next time you'll show up with a jersey on.
Oh,
23. A 23 jersey.
don't tease him. He's determined.
So,
I like that part. Now, what's your second thing?
well, other than that, I mean, I was just saw something on Facebook today that was it really blew my mind when you think about it.
Whoa,
you
what's
go back
that?
to the 70s.
Yeah.
And you look at the Dolphins, the Steelers,
Yeah.
the Raiders in the AFC, and you had the Vikings and the Cowboys and the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams really were a good team, just didn't have a quarterback, and they had a super defense,
Yeah.
And those were probably your big six, during that decade. And the Steelers played the Cowboys twice during the regular season and beat them both. And they, of course, met in 2 Super Bowls. The Dolphins and the Cowboys met in a Super Bowl. But people were talking about the Raiders and Cowboys. What would it have been like if they had played in the Super Bowl together, and because both teams were really good. I mean, if the Steelers weren't there, the Raiders would have probably won 3 Super Bowls.
That's a
I
great
mean,
point.
really.
Kenny Stabler, right?
Yeah. So it's just.
The snake.
But I went back and I looked it up. Do you know how many times the Cowboys and the Raiders played from 1970 to 1970 through 1979?
No.
One time.
Are you
Whoa.
serious?
One
I didn't
time.
know that.
And in 1974, they played a regular season game. The Raiders won 27-23. But that's it. And you got to wonder, like, 2 really good teams like that only matching up once an entire
I
decade.
think that had to do with Tex Schramm and Al Davis.
Really?
Could be.
I would be leaning to because
That's a shame.
Al Davis was a rogue. He was an outlaw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
he was.
and
You'll
back then you
explain
didn't
that to
have the
Smoking
interleague
off
play
air.
that you have now. The
Yeah.
AFC and the NFC, you pretty much AFC teams played AFC teams, with the rare occasion that
No,
there
those are
would be.
good points. No, and it's a
But
great
I think
point.
they would have
Yeah.
been some pretty decent games. They'd have been interesting to say the least. And the fact that they only met one time just blew my mind. Yeah.
Well, even look at the rivalry with Houston and the Steelers. You got one like that that's comparable. Bill Campbell and his thighs. Just seeing those
Cleveland,
games.
Cincinnati, and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Did
They-
you realize that the Houston Oilers won the AFC North or Central Division or North more recently than the Cleveland Browns have?
No,
Oh, that's cool.
No.
That's cool.
no.
That's cool. You ain't have to
Wow.
say that.
Hold it. Steve got the floor.
Well,
No, those are
I
good
mean,
points.
it's
no,
just.
that makes you
I just-
think.
It is kind of strange because I think for fans, I think it would have been very, very interesting.
Oh,
Even if you weren't
yeah.
a Raider or a Cowboy fan, I think, if you had a Monday night game between those teams back in the 70s, Staubach, Stabler. I mean,
Well, I was around.
Doomsday versus that, Tatum and I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. Criminal. The criminal element.
Yeah, the criminal
Atkinson.
element. Yeah, George Atkinson. Yes, I think it would have been very, very interesting to say the least. And it's a shame that One game, and I found it on YouTube. You can watch the whole game completely.
Really?
Yeah, it's on there.
It's probably a good game.
Who won?
It was the Raiders won 27-23.
Yeah.
So
I think they should bring back the Heidi Bowl. That was good.
No, that just happened. Smoking Jim gets
I-
these little news blurbs. I remember when that happened. We were watching the game, me and my dad, and we're yelling like, "What's Heidi on?" My sisters and mother, they're like all happy to see that, and we're like, we only had one TV.
I'm sure you can find that on YouTube because Super Bowl III is on YouTube. You can watch that. There's a Monday night game between the Raiders and the Jets in '72, I think it is on there. So, you know. I mean,
But that was amazing when that happened. When we heard about it, it was like insane.
Right, because Sunday night NBC had whatever was A Wonderful World of Disney on.
Yeah,
7 o'clock.
right. No matter what. Look, Disney rules now with ESPN and everything else. It wouldn't happen. No, thanks, Steve. We're winding down. We'll do On Location with an open discussion. I like seeing my graphic.
Oh, okay.
Nobody gave me the 3, 2, 1. All right. What did I tease with the discussion here? Can we go back? I forget what I was doing. We went to 6 different
I forget
subjects.
too. You forget, Chip?
We lost it. Bring up the film. What did we mention there? I lost that thought.
Well, we were pretty deep into the Steelers and,
Yeah.
and their shortcomings.
Right.
But
Well, yeah, here I want to just bring up a point in general. As Pickens really played for a great winning team, and he's on a losing team right now, and he's doing very well. So,
But you know what? When you're playing on a losing team like that, you're behind a lot. Your quarterback's going to
now,
throw
see,
the ball.
Chip fed right
your,
into
your
that.
quarterback's going to throw the ball a lot. Because I remember this from when I used to play fantasy football. You didn't necessarily pick players on teams that were going to blow other teams out. You picked players on teams that you knew were going to score because they were
had to.
behind.
Yeah, they
But
had to.
I do want to comment one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pitt, everybody got excited for Pitt playing Notre Dame last week. And,
Hold it. Who's their head coach?
we'll get to him. But here's what the deal is. Why anybody gets excited about a Pitt football team is beyond me because Pitt football and the Pittsburgh Pirates are one and the same. They're going to break your heart. It's just a matter of when. Okay, so here's what Narduzzi says last week. Well, I don't care how much we lose this game by. We could lose by 100 points. We're not focused on this game because this isn't an ACC game.
And they had
now,
an extra
what kind
week.
of comment?
An extra week to prepare.
Yeah, and what kind of comment is that for a head coach to make
I
about
agree,
his team?
I agree.
Going to play the biggest game they played all year, okay, and they're not going to win against Georgia Tech or against Miami.
All
So
right.
they may not win another
We
game
got to
this
end
year.
it. Nobody reminded us on the time. Please stay Joey strong.